everybody, this is Carissa McNaught of Needle and Anchor Supply Company. This is day 3 of the Sand Dollar Sewalong. I'm just finishing getting set up. Sorry. Turning on lights, getting stuff ready. I think I'm almost done, like ready. So I did not... I was unable to cut out my crossbody strap, so I'll have to do that a little later this afternoon after this taping, this stream, and I'll do it again. I'll finish the crossbody strap later tonight. Sorry, my dog was kind of distracting me. I was going to show how to fix this little oopsie I have. Let's see if I can get... It's kind of overcast today, so it's a little bit darker in here. Maybe I can get some lights on. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so I had a little oopsie when I sewed this. So let's see if it will show up on the camera. So like there's a longer stitch right there. There we go. You can see it's a little bit longer of a stitch. So I'm going to show how I'm going to fix that right now. I need to find a needle. So I'm going to fix my mistake. And I'm just going to take some thread from here. I'll take it from my bobbin, even though later on I'll probably have to fill a bobbin. And I'm sorry, that'll be boring, but at least it's quick. Okay, so I hope you're all staying warm. If you're in Texas, I am so sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up in the middle of this really long stitch and basically pull it to the back and then tie it off. So I'm going to come up between it and just pull that stitch to the back. And I probably don't need this double thick because I don't want it to be double thick. So basically I'm going to make this stitch into 2. And it might be I don't have a thimble. I hardly ever hand stitch. And I just put lotion on, so even that's going to be a pain. So I'm going to use the table. I was going to use the table as basically... Oh, this might be... Oh, perfect. It's coming up right where I want it to. I wish I had a thimble. I need to get one. And my fingers, my hands were so dry, I had to put lotion on. Okay, so there we go. So let's see if I can... So I came up and you can see my stitch, my long stitch is right there. And then I'm just on the top of it and I'm going to make another, well, not another hole. I'm going to come up like that. And I'm going to go slightly different than where I came up through. And I'm going to pull this stitch to the back. And then I'm going to have to tie this off. But basically, and I'll have to tie it really tight to make it look like... So I don't know if you can see it, but I basically made that long stitch into 2 stitches now. Not perfect, but it's definitely better than what it was. And I didn't change the integrity on anything, so Now I can take my needle off and I will tie this off. I don't want to go too tight, but I also don't want it to be loose because I don't want it to be noticeable that it is another stitch. And I don't know if you know this, but when you tie your stitches, you should really do a square knot. And a square knot is, you just look at your hand placement. So when you're tying something, here, I'll show it on my scissors. And then we'll get into the video. But this is just teaching you something. So I always, instinctively, I just want to put my right hand over my left and then pull. So then for a square stitch, a square knot, then you put the left in front of the right and you just do it the opposite way. That's a square knot. So, and they hold much better than, try it on like a sweatshirt, like, you know, your the hoodie strings and stuff like that. Try it on something that you'll notice where the knot is not as tight. You know, and when you do your square knot, just don't do it super tight. But it is actually something they do in the Navy, the little neckerchief that we have to wear with our dress blues. It has to be a square knot, and a lot of people have problems with understanding what a square knot is. And now I can't get this thread off my scissors. But that's what a square knot is. It's more secure and it doesn't fall out. So let's carry on with our video today. Yeah, you can put a little glue or where's my little, or you can take a lighter or one of those thread zappers. But yeah, you could take glue. I'm just gonna take my lighter to it. And then I just melt the stitches down a little bit and then it's good. And then I'll just show you what. So there was the long stitch. It was that first stitch that was there and it was long and I made it into 2 stitches. It's not perfect, but you can't tell now. So yay. Okay, so let's oh, my pin cushion. Thank you. I think I got it at Joann's. I always put my bent pens in here because I don't want to throw them away until they're like super bad, but I hardly ever use this thing now because I use a lot of clips. And my trash can has disappeared. Oh, here we go. Okay, got a trash can now. Okay, so let's get going on the pattern. Okay, zipper. So now that I mended that, oh, I was actually thinking of doing something before. I don't know if I want to do this. So I thought about cutting open this dart and spreading this open and then doing some decorative top stitching over it. I don't know if you think it'll look good. Voice your opinions in the comments. Basically, I would just cut down the middle, separate this, and then I would trim it, and then I would splay it open. And then I could just top stitch from the bottom up to like almost where the dart meets, and then go across and then top stitch back down. So on either side of the dart. I think it would look pretty and it would give it more of a high-end look. But I kind of want to see what y'all thought of that. So I'll give you guys time to think about that, and we're going to work on the zipper. Okay, so I need my zipper pull. I ate today, so you shouldn't hear any grumbling on my tummy. This light is really bright in my eyeballs. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I believe it takes I think it was an 11-inch zipper. And then it needs to be cut down to 10 1/4. I think I started with 12, just I wanted to give myself a little bit extra, and I had a long piece, so. So for anyone that is not familiar with doing the 90-degree turns on zippers, I know there's another designer, Amy Butler, and she does hers with hemostats, and she pulls it just at the precise moment it needs to be turned on the pattern. That's fine. I do mine this way. She does hers that way. You know, you can do it however you like. But if you're just starting out and you want to do it this way, I suggest marking a line at 5/8 of an inch, or if you give yourself more, it doesn't really matter where. Okay, so that's 5/8 of an inch. And then you have to open your zipper, and I did heat seal it with my lighter. Okay, so I'll put the pull on in a minute. Okay, so the way I do this is you just open this up a little bit, and it doesn't matter where, but it always helps if both edges are completely straight. And then you just pinch on this line. See, I'm just pinching. And then you'll take that pinched part, and basically it creates a 45-degree like angle. Like let's say you're doing, the sheets on your bed, a 45, a nice 45. So you're going to take that pinch line and you're going to just place it underneath the zipper teeth. So, and I used my Choco liner, so it'll come out. It won't be noticeable. And then I just, I'll be honest, I don't draw the line anymore because I do these so often that it's just second nature. But if you're just starting out, this is what I suggest. And then you do the same with the other side. And I'm right-handed, so this feels really weird to do it with my left, but I will show it. Okay, so I just pinch this line. And then you take that pinch line. And see, I'm not left-handed. And then you just put it underneath the teeth. And you'll know when it's right when both of these, that pinch part, both edges of the zipper match up. Like one's not peeking behind the other. So hopefully that was visible. Please tell me it was. And then I always just do this to make sure that they're good. And actually it looks like my right one is slightly higher, so I'm going to redo that one. And this is pretty much the only time I do pins. This and darts. Ow, I poked myself. Okay, so there's that. And actually I'll show the pull really quick too. So for the pull, you just open up the bottom. And what I do is I have my left hand holding the zipper and my right hand holding the pull. And again, I heat sealed these so that they don't fray while I'm trying to do all this. And then I just put it into about where the head gets more narrow into where the zipper is supposed to go, like where it becomes one. You basically just want both parts of that zipper in the head part, if that makes sense. And then what I do is I hold my left hand on the zipper and I push with my right hand on the pull to go down on the teeth. And of course, it's not doing it right now. And it could be my pull, because I got my pull from a place that I did not get my zipper. So bear with me. Okay, I got it. Some zippers are easier, some are not easier. My pull is from Ning Bags, and then the zipper I got from a D-stash. So I was hoping it would fit, and it does. See, it works. So it's just tight. But there we go. And then see, my zipper is still straight, and I don't have that weird little bubble or anything. So now we're just going to base down each side of this so that I can take the pins off. Oh, you know what? I think I am going to try doing that. The top stitching on the darts. I think that'll look really pretty. I got to be careful. My coffee is sitting right here, and I don't want to spill it because that would be a tragedy for my sewing machine and my coffee. I drink cold brew, and it's my lifeblood, so. I normally do tinier stitches, but it's on a long stitch length right now, so I'm just going to go with what I have in my sewing machine. And I just did a couple of back and forth stitches. And I need to turn down the volume on my laptop. You guys can hear when I'm getting mail and stuff like that, so there we go. So I can take that pin out, and then I can trim that and make it look flush. I know this might seem basic, but we're going to have beginners possibly doing this video, and I want to appeal to everybody, so I'm sorry if it seems like I'm going a little slow. I just trying to appeal to the masses. Okay, there we go. All right. So I am going to, oh, the sun is popping out now. I'm going to trim this right here. Okay. All right, and I like to trim these threads up at the top because they always seem to poke out when I sew the zipper, because, you know, the seam allowance is usually only 1/4 of an inch, and I don't want those popping out later because they're hard to trim down once they're sewn into a seam, even if I use tweezers. Okay, so there's that. Our zipper is prepped. And now I will pull this up. Now I need to trim my zipper down to, I think it said 10 1/4. Yep, 10 1/4 for the large. So, and I cannot use this. I recommend when using the ruler that's on your table to verify that your ruler is correct, because these tables are coming from China, and a Chinese inch is different than an American inch. And I'm not trying to be silly or anything, but you don't notice it when it's down here 1 inch, but then incrementally each time it gets a little bit bigger. Like, see, this is a 16-inch ruler. On the 16-inch line, it's just slightly over 15 7/8. Is definitely not the same. And it's possible the in between these two lines is an actual inch, but when you measure on these rulers, the inch is that last line. So it's possible that they're, they thought they were doing it right, but it's not right. So just make sure that you're looking at measuring it to something that you trust, because if you were to use this while you're sewing and something doesn't come out right, that would be why. So I don't ever use this ruler at all. It honestly is kind of a waste. Okay, so we need 10 1/4 while I'm getting distracted now. Okay, so I need my chocolate liner. And I'm measuring from the teeth all the way to the end. 10 1/4. There we go. It shifted. Okay. I am going to trim that down. Toss that out. Sometimes when I trim them down, if they're long enough to use as like a fake piping accent, I will use them later on. And I just heat seal the end of the zipper. Okay. Okay. So there's that, and I have a little piece pop up. Part of the zipper coil popped up. Okay. Now, we are on to the zipper tab, which okay. So I don't want this to get super thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this on mostly like the pattern. I'm going to sew it at my 3/8 of an inch this way, and then I'm going to flip it over. And then when I flip it to the back, I'm not going to fold it in on itself so that it's double thick on the back. I'm just going to make it with the raw edge on the back to reduce a little bit of bulk. So, but I like it on the top that way because I don't want the raw edge showing. It's not real leather, and you would see the backing. So that's how I'm going to do this. I need a clip. Clippy. Hi, Judith. And let me just formally say, hello, Freddie. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Peg. Looks like we have the same people watching today, and some people don't say hi. They just watch and they're quiet. But that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch on the front. I'll lower my stitch length. Okay. And I'm going to apologize in advance. I should have had another bobbin ready, but I do not. And I know when it goes, I'm going to have to fill one. So I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to flip this to the back. And I like doing it like this because if I would have created like a little folded part and then put my zipper into it, you wouldn't have this like solid edge. And I like having that solid edge where nothing, like, I don't know, if you spill something or if you get something on it or anything, it's not going inside the zipper. That's just how I like my zipper. So I'm going to pull this to the back. See, and normally I would fold this in half and then, make like a little like that. But that's just way too much right now with the more faux leather. So I'm going to top stitch this and then I'm going to trim off what I don't need as neatly as possible. So I'm going to top stitch. So slightly different than the pattern, but not a whole lot. And I need to lengthen my stitch length. Okay. And I'm not going to back stitch. Well, maybe I will one little stitch. There we go. Okay. And now I need to, first I'm going to trim. I should just leave this off and just leave the scissors ready. I'm going to trim this off. And then I'm going to trim the back. Okay. So I'm going to put my scissor blade right underneath that and then just cut. I want to do it in one solid cut because then you don't see like little jagged lines, but that didn't work. There we go. So that's what the back looks like. And that's the front. And it's nice and pliable still. So when we're poking out those corners on the bag later, and conversely, you could add a couple inches and then just put a zipper end onto it and then have your zipper go into the bag a little bit if you want. That would, honestly, that would make it a little bit more high end. Then you can have like a little bit of a zipper tail instead of this being like a pouch. So, okay, so this part's done. What thread do I use? Hi, Marie. Hi, Suzanne. Yeah, the ruler's cool. I just started using this little thing. Okay, so the thread I use Gutermann Mara 70. And if you're going to use stuff like that, if you're going to use the Mara thread, I totally recommend buying one of these thread charts. It's the more expensive one from Waywack or Cleaner Supply. I don't know if in Australia, I don't know who has them in Australia, but I'm sure they're available somewhere. But this is the one that has 700 colors, and they come with these cool little color charts, and it's really come in handy when I've been doing my fabric designs, because I don't know if you all know, but I have fabric too on Spoonflower, so I pull that out when I need to. And that covers several of their lines of threads. I think it's the Mara 30, the Mara 70, and some of Mara 100. So that's what I use is the Gutermann Mara 70. I think it's it should say on here, it's a Tex. It does not say what the text is. I think the text is text 30. So anyway, I'm going to, and I use that for all of my seams. I know it's a top stitching thread, but I have an industrial, so I just use it for all of my seams. And I don't need to switch it out or anything. And I've used it in my bobbin too. Okay, so the zipper tab is done. Now we need to do the zipper placement. Okay, you know what though? I want to top stitch these, so I'm going to do that really quick. And so here's where I am going to trim down the dart, but only on the exterior. And I want to give myself enough to splay this open so that I can top stitch on either side. So slightly more than 1/4 of an inch. And then I need to cut into that a little bit so I can get that open. Okay, so I am on a top stitching length. So I need to just decide where I'm going to be top stitching to. And honestly, I feel like I need to cross over right at the tippy top of the dart. So I'm going to so this is going to be fun because I have to kind of spread this open a little bit. And I am going to tie my threads off. So I need to right there is where I want to come over. And I think I only need to come over 1 stitch length and then pivot again. Oh, okay. I thought I messed up, but I think I did okay. Okay, so there is 1 dart top stitched. And I'm just going to, actually, I'll do the other one and then I'll tie these off. Okay, so the fun part is making sure that this stays flat. And I definitely don't want to use double-sided tape on this because that would just gum everything up. I need to put that in. I need to pull my thread out. There we go. And then I need to identify where I'm going to stop this top stitching right about there. There we go. It's a lot to pay attention to all at the same time. And I might have come up too far on that one, but I'm not sure. Okay. And 1 stitch length. Okay, and now I'm going to pivot and come back down. Just make sure all of that is situated. Okay. It's a little bit tiny here at the top where I came across. But that's all right. Nothing is perfect. I've bought bags from store-bought bags like Coach and stuff like that. And you know what? If you look closely, you can find little mistakes. Even factory workers don't always do everything perfect. So I allow little things to just stay the way they are. Yes, it's good to have like preciseness and perfectionism, but I mean, too much is too much. We're human beings. Have you ever heard of men that go out and buy a new truck? And they're like not city guys, like the country guys, and they have a new truck and they think to themselves, oh my gosh, this thing is too pretty. So they intentionally sometimes put a dent in something just so they can say, there, now it's not perfect. Okay, so there they are, top stitched. See, it's kind of a little tiny right there, but that's all right. I will pay more attention on my, and it could have probably come up a little bit higher too, so. It still looks good, in my opinion. I'm going with it. Okay. Opening these up. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to do the crossbody strap. It's either going to be tonight or sometime tomorrow, but I have to run some errands tomorrow, so and I'm going to have to piece together. I'm just going to make it all Mora, just so it's the same thickness all the way through. And I think on these, I am going to do a little mark so I know when to pivot. Okay, right there and right. I'm just marking at the top part of the dart. And now the sun's poking out again. Okay, make sure it's coming back up. Now I will pivot. Okay, and pivot again. Oh, I think this one looks much better. See, it helps that I actually had this a little thought out for this one. All right, there's that one, and just one more, and then we're done with this part. So, Peg, what time is it there in Australia? I want to say I used to know the time difference, but now I don't know. At least what part of, I mean, like, what time is it where you're at in Australia? Oh, and I have to manipulate the placement of that one because... No problem, Judith. See you later. It'll be available. I think they're immediately available. This got kind of wonky. Okay, so one, I need to come over a little bit. There we go. And pivot again. Oh, okay, Peg. I thought you were in Australia. I apologize. Okay. And those are done. Now I just have my threads and we can put our zipper on. And I'm tying these off, but I'm not melting any edges or anything because later on these seams will be probably trimmed down anyway, so it's not really going to matter too much. I don't know, for some reason I thought you were in Australia. There's just no way. The groups that we're in are so international. I know not to assume that we all live in the United States. Oh. Okay. I feel like this part is very tedious. Okay. But I also feel like it was worth it because that's beautiful. Just wiping off the chocolate liner. They look good. Okay, so now I like to make, I'm making this the front of my bag. And I like the zipper. I carry mine on my left shoulder, so I like the zipper to be like this and open from front to back. So that's how I put my zippers on. So hopefully whoever gets this likes it that way because that's the way they're getting it. And I just now realized on the video everything is backwards because the word Juki is backwards, and I need to figure out how to flip that. I think I can go back in and flip it after the fact. Okay, so I need to know. 3/4 of an inch. I need 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Easy enough. So you got married there. Nice. I need 3/4 of an inch. Well, this is confusing because it's on an angle, so there we go. I'm going to do it like that. Because we just want the top edge 3/4 of an inch. So basically I need to, there we go. Between those two edges. Oh, you can read the Juki the right way? That's weird. Maybe because it's in my studio. I'm looking at it in my studio. So YouTube must automatically reverse it. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so I'm putting on the zipper. And I always like to see, so my zipper, even though I measured it correctly, still is coming longer than that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tab end on top of the line and then pin from right to left. That way the opening where the zipper is, because it's going to be less bulky on this side than this side, if that makes sense. When you're turning it and you're popping out that corner, it's going to be less bulky on this side because you don't have a tab to deal with. But here you do. So I'm going to place it on there from right to left. So when I sew really slow because I think about all these little things and how it's going to affect it. And actually it's coming almost, both pieces are on top of the line now that I drew. So that's good. It worked out that way. And now I can unzip my zipper a little bit because I'm going to start on that side. And I think on my pattern, I say 1/4 inch for the full seam allowance and 1/8, but I think I'm going to do 3/8 for my final stitch. So I'm going to do my top stitching at 1/4 inch and 3/8. Sorry, my brain like totally just zoomed out of, I don't know where it went. So right now I'm just basting it. I could put double-sided tape. I like basting stuff. I'm weird like that. And then now I'm going to use my stiletto because it can get where my fingers cannot go. And there we go. I need to pull this out of the way. And I can just kind of move my zipper along if it moves out of the way. can put it back together with the stiletto. Also, if I see any little bubbles, I can push them down with this. I just love having a stiletto. It's awesome. Okay, and here we go. Okay. Baste it on. Now I need the lining piece that matches up with that one. Would be this one. And when well, that's starting to peel away, but that's all right. When I sew like the final seam, I like to flip it over and then sew on the side that I already basted on, like, you know, where I can see the stitches. That way, if there's any excess fabric here, it's facing the plate of the sewing machine and being forced to be flat instead of my presser foot causing it to wrinkle, if that makes sense. So just another thing that I just do. And then when I'm clipping all these pieces together, I always clip the outside edges first and then make sure everything fits in between. Because there are two different types of fabric. So, you know, they behave differently. And if you just start on one end, you might pull one accidentally and get it stretched out. Whereas if you do it this way, then everything clips together perfectly. So another little tip from me. Let's hope my bobbin does not run out. Okay, and I want a regular stitch length, and I'm going to back stitch on this. I think before I do any top stitching, I'm going to wind a bobbin, because honestly, that is like the worst time to run out of bobbin thread. It's when you're top stitching. Okay, and I'm coming up onto where the zipper pull is, so I need to move it out of the way. There we go. It's creating a little bubble, and I didn't want that. All right. Now we'll just add the other side of the zipper, and then we'll top stitch and, well, wind a bobbin and then top stitch. Oh yeah, see, I did it at the 3/8. I think that looks better. I should probably update that in my pattern. Also going to trim these. If you see any little threads popping up, you want to trim those definitely before you sew the bag together, because it just makes them harder to trim them after the fact. Okay, so now I need to mark on the other exterior, 3/4 of an inch also. There's that. And there we go. So this, now we put it face down this way, of course. And I know before I had to place them on the line, so that's what I'm just going to automatically do. And then I'll make sure everything fits in between. So I will clip, and then clip everything in between. Okay, there we go. There's a lot of weight on that side. There we go. And I'm making sure I'm not pulling on anything. I'm just easing it in gently. I know we all try to avoid the dreaded wavy zip. And I think sometimes people push and pull and it just happens. So you just have to be extra careful with zippers. They're finicky little buggers. Okay, I think we are good to go to baste. And then after this, I'm going to do a bobbin. Okay, so after I baste these together and sew them before top stitching. I always make sure my needle is down before I move the zipper. Okay, and I try to pull it completely back, so then all I have to do is move forward and not mess with it again. Okay, going along just fine. Get that. I did one little back stitch there just to hold that in place. Okay, and now I just put the other lining on. Yep. All right. Here we go. And I'm sewing this at 3/8 of a seam allowance instead of the 1/4 inch. I'm going to make sure that's down. I am going to move the pole right now. That kind of shifted a little bit. I'll just fix that. There we go. All right. Definitely need to wind a bobbin. So I need to find, I'm sorry, I have to find an empty bobbin. I believe they're right here. And I only have one spool of that thread. Actually, I have quite a bit. Well, but I won't have enough for everything anyway, so. Okay, so I take my thread out of the needle and the take up part. Put that there. There. Tie this together with this. Okay. Let me trim the knot off. And I don't ever really unthread my my Juki. I know how to thread it if I do ever accidentally unthread it, but I try not to unthread it all. Okay. I'm just going to sew with the new bobbin. Okay. I'm going to change out my foot anyway. I need to, I did not want to do it that way. Okay, there we go. It felt kind of weird at first. Okay. Okay, so this is a seam edge guide foot, so I'm using that to basically cheat and top stitch. Okay, so I only top stitch through my lining, or I mean my exterior. So I'm just going through the exterior and all the seam allowances, but the lining is placed over to the right hand side. And I know a lot of people question whether that is going to cause the lining to be gapy, but it's never been an issue for me. Okay, so I'm going to have slight problems just because I have the zipper right here. So I'm going to have to put my little hump jumper that I made. I have a hump jumper, but I actually like the cork because it adds grippiness. And it still looks like it might be a little low, but I need to at least get a stitch or two in, and then maybe I need to nope, I can't do it like that. So I'm going to hand crank it for at least 1 or 2 stitches. Okay, and now I'm going to put this hump jumper under there maybe. See, this foot is kind of a pain in the ass, but it's also nice at the same time. Okay, there we go. I think I have it where I can top stitch now. And it's over, there we go. It's over the zipper. There we go. Might have another little issue when I hit the zipper tab down here, but we will take it as it comes. Okay. I will just do what I did before. Oh, I did not wait until my needle was down. Hopefully that didn't cause any issues. There we go. There we go. Oh, looks fine. Can't even tell. Woohoo! I lucked out. Everybody's so quiet. Am I boring? Please tell me I'm not boring. I kind of sometimes get in my own little world when I'm sewing, so. Oh, that looks beautiful. Look how pretty. All right, now to do the other side. Got a lot of crap over here. Don't need that. Uh-oh. Oh, I turned off my light. I was like, what happened? I lost power. But I didn't lose power. I just accidentally turned off my light. Yikes. That scared me for a second. Okay. that down. And I need to put my needle. Perfect. I'm glad you're learning new tips and tricks. Okay. There we go. I think I'm just going to tie this one off because I don't want to backstitch over my little hump jumper-y thing, and it'll be just fine if I just move forward like I need to do. And I got to put this back in there again. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, here we go. That's another reason why I like the cork hump jumper. Instead of a piece of plastic popping all over, it's just, you know, it popped out, but it didn't make a clanky noise and it didn't startle me. I love this edge foot. Okay, I need to move this out of the way. Okay, and needle down. Gotta put this in there because I'm about ready to go over the zipper. There we go. There we go. Yep, I'm just gonna tie it off. I said I'm going to tie it off, and then I ended up cutting it off. So, oops, one side will not have that. So, hopefully I have enough that I can kind of burn the edge. Don't you just love autopilot, you know, like your brain just goes off on its own, does its own little thing sometimes. Okay, so perfect. I just melted those down a little bit. Now it won't fray or pull through. All right. So did the top stitching. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to trim all my threads that might possibly show up later. We don't want those to pop out and have to deal with them later. Okay. Well, it's good you didn't lose power for very long yesterday. You hate when your hands and your brain don't work together? Exactly. Same. I'm going to put these to the side. They don't need to be over there. You know, you guys want to see something else cool that I have? I love this thing. Look how cool that is. You can put all of your little scissors and stuff in it. So I have all my pretty scissors in there and snips and yeah, I love that thing. It's called It's So Emma. It's a little caddy thing, and they come in different sizes, but I really like that one. My mouth is getting a little dry, so I'm going to take a sip of my cold brew in my thermos. Oh, that was delicious. Okay, so now that we're doing this, now open the zipper. Oh, that's awesome, Peg. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's so fun and it's so pretty and cute, and I like putting all my nifty little tools in there, and it's just so pretty. I like when things are pretty and functional. Okay, so I need to open my zipper. And if you did not top stitch like I did, what you're going to do is you are going to nest your darts. So like, let's say both of these are going in. Both of these need to go out so that you have the bulk here and the bulk here. Now, if you trimmed it down, I personally don't like that, because if you trim them down, then they're much harder to manage. And, you know, you don't have any less fabric. It's just not as long if you trimmed it down. So honestly, keeping it just as long is fine. Thank you. For the scissors, I love these. Look at how pretty those are. They're rose gold, and the only thing I can say is when I bought them, they had like this pointy part right there, and it was sharp. But hubby just grinded it down a little bit. And then I have the Tula Pink snips. I waited months for these things. And then I have these unicorn rainbow scissors. Just cool little scissors I find here and there. I'm like, ooh, I gotta have those. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna nest those so that they are not going the same way, so that you don't have bulk. I guess I'm clipping these this way. And okay, so now that I did those, I'm gonna clip up the side seams. You definitely want to do that so you can match up everything. Everything, you know, will look good when it's all sewn up. So, and remember, it's going to be a little bit bulky where that the D-ring contrast trim is, but if you have a domestic and, you know, you didn't need to do it the same way I did mine. There are definitely ways to make this a very domestic friendly pattern. I mean, just because I have an industrial doesn't mean that all of my patterns are meant for industrial machines, because I actually think of everyone. And my testers, some of them have domestic machines. So I know all of my patterns are domestic machine friendly. I don't think I've written anything yet that cannot be done on a domestic machine. In fact, I even put layers within the PDF so that you can only print, so that you can individually print just the interfacing pieces. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I do have that for most patterns. I can't say all. Okay, so, and on the lining, because I don't have an internal zipper pocket, which you can add, but I didn't put one in this pattern. I wanted it to be just a simple pattern. I am going to leave this edge unsewn. So I don't forget to do that, I am going to put a pin so that I know that when I come back around, that I don't want to sew those pieces. So I'm going to keep it clipped, but I'm going to basically start here, go all the way around, all the way here, and then I'll stop here. So that's how I'm going to do it. And it's just because it's like a kind of a nice long edge and enough to turn. Whereas the bottom is more ovally shaped, you know, rounded. So I don't want to try to close that up. On the side will be nice because it'll be barely noticeable. So right here, I'm going to do the 3/8, go all the way 3/8. And then when I get to here, I'll do 3/8 for about an inch. And then I will increase to 5/8 and then sew all the way 5/8 to here. And if I wanted to, I could also base stitch, you know, like do a back stitch here and then base stitch this here at 5/8, go and spread it, iron it or press it, and then take those base stitches out. And then you have like a nice folded edge and you don't have to deal with the, trying to match it up later. I make everything difficult. I'm not going to do that, but that's what you could do. So we are going to sew this up now. Oh, I got to change my foot though. I just want my regular standard presser foot. And I got to make sure to put the presser foot down. I don't like it to have, to sit on that one foot, because one edge is higher than the other, and I don't like it to rest on it. Okay, so 3/8 is right there. And I want to put in a regular stitch length, which for me is about 3. I like to do it around 3. Okay. Now it might get a little, nope, sewing just fine. I don't even know where my jumper went. Probably ended up on the floor somewhere. Okay, so I think I have my zipper all the way open and it's adding a little bit of bulk to where the tab is. So I'm going to close it about 1 inch. There we go. I have to I don't know. Okay, so right about there. And then now I'm going to pivot because it just kind of, yep, oh, perfect. That works. Perfect. Okay, now I need to go to 5/8 because I want it to fit really snug. And you know what? I am going to do what I mentioned before. I am going to do the base stitches where my turning hole is. That way I can show what I mean. So I'm coming up to that. Okay, so I'm going to back stitch now, right here, back stitch. And then here, I am going to start long stitches. I made my stitch length almost 5. And then I'm going to have to go, there we go. So I'm going to have to, I had to go over, I forgot I had to meet these stitches up. So basically I kind of had to close that difference up, for lack of better words. So now everything's closed, I know, but I can finger press these open on both sides. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, again, I don't have my iron plugged in. I actually didn't think I was going to need it. I didn't think about this. So I'm basically pressing this open. And this is so that after I take out those basting stitches, when I do close up the turning hole, it's already got a nice crisp edge. And then the rest I'm going to use pinking shears. You definitely need these on the curves. And if you don't have pinking shears, you can use your regular scissors. And on the curved parts, you're going to have to do little V notches. And I'm going to taper it off right there so that I have something to close. So all of this you need to I like these pinking shears. They're the easiest to use that I've found. They are the Kai. Of course, it's going to be tough over the darts. That was several layers of fabric, so. Okay, so the lining part is done. Now we have to do the exterior side. And I am going to say that my 3/8 on my machine is more like 5/16. So it's between 1/4 and 3/8. So if it looks small, it's because it is. But I go by the line and that's what it says. And my eye is always drawn there. So technically my 3/8 is a little bit smaller than 3/8. Okay. I think I got those close enough. Okay, now I need to rip out the stitches for where I need to sew the turning hole so I can turn it. Okay, so seam ripper is also on my stiletto. It's double-ended. Yay! Oh, and I'm going to I'm going to cut a little V into this guy, or just cut into where I sewed. It'll make it easier to turn, and that corner will look nicer. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we just need to rip out these stitches, which it's over the fusible fleece, so that's going to be fun. I might even just close the hole up right where the fusible fleece is. You basically use that as a guide because most of it, that's how it is. You don't have to do this. I was just showing how you could do this and how the process worked. Hopefully this side will just come right out. It does. Perfect. I like to pull all these things out. I don't like them popping out after you've turned the bag, so I try to go and painstakingly pull stuff like that out. Okay, I don't see any more. Good. Okay, now we get to turn. I'm going to open the zipper back up when I can. Okay, so when I pop these out, I try to like get right in there, and you definitely want to try your hardest to get that whole corner completely out. Because if you don't, and if you wait too long, like you won't be able to get it from the outside. So you have to do it now before you close up the turning hole, because there's no way to get it out any other time. And then you also have to kind of flatten out your lining so you're not struggling against the lining pulling on it. So I think I have it enough. I like these scissors because they're not too pointy. I'm going to go in and poke that corner. Yeah, see, I could poke it out a little bit more than with my finger. And then now that it's out, pinching it with my finger really quick and putting the lining in there. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. Okay, so now while we still have the lining out, I'm going to sew up that hole. And my lining is a little bit bulkier than it normally would be because I put the thermal lamb on that. And I'm just going to fold this where I had the thermal lamb. And I am going to clip it, but right now I'm going to put 2 pins where I need to start and stop my hole. That way I know exactly where to go to. Okay, there we go. Now just clipping it, and there we go. So I just sew from here all the way to here. And the pins just show me where I can start and stop easily. All right. And there we go. Get that out of my way so I don't accidentally sew that. And I like to put it on a smaller stitch length. So it's on a 3. That's good. And I do the tiniest seam allowance I can possibly do, where the 2 fabrics are on top of each other. You could also hand stitch this. Hand stitching would actually make it look less noticeable, but it's going to be in the side of the bag, so honestly, it shouldn't be too noticeable anyway. Okay. And there we go. And actually my lining is all lined, so it's not very noticeable anyway. All right. I'll just push this sucker in there and admire our bag. And I will do the crossbody strap. I will announce when I'm going to do it, or I might even just do it and spur of the moment. And my lining is in there nice and snug. I mean, you can see I'm not like doing anything different. No magic or anything. I'm just pushing it into the corners and just making sure it's filling out the bag completely. And so there's our bag. And I have swivel clips that I will add the crossbody strap onto. the adjustable crossbody strap, I should say. And that'll be it. And I remember I top stitched those darts. So you can see the top stitching. It's not perfect, but I definitely think it adds to the bag. I think it looks very classy. The lining looks really nice. Got my little slip pocket there. The lining fits very snug. So, yeah, I was surprised it looks so good with the tan, but it looks very pretty. I mean, nickel would have looked nice too, but I had the zipper and it matched perfectly. So no other color would have went with that. I guess maybe gold, but I'm not a big fan of gold. So yeah, I mean, honestly, you could just make a tassel too. You could put a tassel there because you have enough room for a tassel and your swivel clip. So you could add a tassel and that would add some more bling. And, of course, if you have a name tag, you could put your name tag somewhere in here or there or whatever. So, yeah. And then this, you don't have any of those weird Frankenstein bolt looking things coming out the sides. The lining is not blended threads. The lining is actually from Hawthorne Supply. It's one of their basic, I think it's called Hawthorne Essentials. It's one of their prints. So yeah, there's our bag. All right. Well, I will do the crossbody strap either today or tomorrow. It might even be Saturday. I need a little bit of a break. I've been trying to put our house back to, normal after the painters were here. So I spend most nights exhausted. And when I get time to myself, I end up falling asleep. Antique gold is okay. Still not a fan of gold though, personally. I like the soft brush gold, and it's really hard to find, that color anywhere. I definitely love the Mora faux leather though. It's so pretty. Actually, I have another bag that I made with the Mora faux leather. It was my my mini swell. And I put the Mora on there also, and I love it. With some herringbone tweed fabric, which is beautiful. So I definitely like the Mora. Oh, the Mora? Yeah. Oh, you can do whatever you want. I say use it, Peg. Use your Mora faux leather. It doesn't matter. She only has currently, the 5 colors? So, and I think she's going to add mustard and eggplant soon, but use what you want. I will not be offended. Not at all. Honestly, I would be flattered if you did that. So, oh, I just need to point out, look at those. Look at how those match up. Da-ding. They turned out Yes, eggplant. I think she said it was going to be a couple months though before she gets it. The Mora faux leather is from Emmeline Bags. And look at that. See? Very tiny little spot. And that is like perfectly in there because of my interfacing choices and everything. So you think 3/4 of an inch is a lot, but it's actually not. Once you throw in your interfacings and the turn of, what do they call it? The turn of cloth. By the time you have all that, everything gets, all that seam allowance gets eaten up. So, yep. Okay, so my zipper pull is from Ning Bags. The Mora, excuse me. The Mora faux leather is from Emmeline Bags. I believe these swivel clips, they're from Ning Bags. The zipper, I don't know where I got from. I got it in a D-stash, so I don't know where they bought it. And then my lining is from Hawthorne Supply. It's one of their Hawthorne Essentials. And I think that's it. So I'm going to sign off because I'm really, clearly I'm tired. I don't know why. It's barely 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, but I haven't had my coffee yet either, all the way. I mean, this thing is mostly full and I need to drink it. So you're so welcome, and I will post the link. Don't forget, I have all the Sewalong links are in the files in a Sewalong document. So I have everything, like what days everything is. I don't have timestamps and everything like that. I need to figure out how to do those, but when I do figure those out, I will put those in the description of these videos. So thank you all for being here, and if you could, my small ask would be to make the sand dollar and please share it around in the groups. I mean, there's only so much I can do. I can put my patterns out there and like yell from the mountaintop, but it helps if everybody else shares what they make from them. So I appreciate it. And you guys all have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you, Peg. Bye.